Hey folks, welcome back. Hope you're doing well out there. So in this video, I just want to pop on really quick here and just make a little comment about technique versus principles when it comes to either psychedelic therapy or therapy in general, or just understanding how to grow and heal and change. So often when people come to me, or when people are kind of tuning into my channel or following my feed on Reddit, these kinds of things, people come to psychedelic therapy and in general, DIYing therapy for themselves, really wanting to know techniques. Right. This is the common thing is what are the things I need to do? What's the process I need to run myself through? What are the secret techniques that therapists use that will create healing or change or well-being or access to new states or new transformational experiences for me, right? And I think people come to psychedelic therapy, especially because it seems so kind of cryptic and secret and mysterious and kind of arcane and whatnot. People come to psychedelic therapy, especially with this kind of impression that it's about the right technique, it's about the right skills and approaches and tweaks and processes that are going to get you the healing and change. I think this is pretty natural that when people are trying to learn things, they want to learn the steps on how to do them. They want to learn the processes first. And so this kind of implies technique, right? But what I want to just kind of come on and say here and kind of start to get you to think about, and this is really one of the major points of my channel here, one of the major points of the course I'm going to be putting out shortly. And just in general, one of the things I want to convey to you is seeing beyond technique. That if you're looking at techniques, you're really just kind of keeping your focus very narrow and small, and you're kind of missing the bigger picture, the paradigm shift that needs to happen. So I want you to start to think instead of techniques, I want you to start to think in terms of principles. What are the principles of therapy? What are the principles of healing? What are the principles of change, right? What are the principles of growth or transformation or any of this, right? As you study, if you're reading therapy books, learning how to DIY therapy or taking courses or whatever you might be doing to learn how to heal yourself, uh, as you're going through this process, in my experience, having spent over a decade nerding out, seriously, aggressively studying course after course after course, getting trainings and skills, I think it's really easy to want to get the techniques. And often, though, the real gold, the real nuggets of magic and power that you take from these courses and these educations, they're in the principles, right? They're in the way of seeing, the way of understanding, and the overall sense of what's going on at the more broad scale, right? Rather than at the specific, detailed technique intervention scale. There are certainly, don't get me wrong, there are certainly places where technique matters. There are certainly techniques that are very powerful and very useful. A well-timed, well-placed technique that's like really attuned to the person and just the right thing at the right moment can be life-changing. So please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's no place for technique. I'm just saying that's often overrated. And that really what you want to learn is how to see in a different way, how to see yourself, how to see the mind, body, nervous system, how to see other human beings and the world around us, and to start to understand the principles of healing, the principles of change, the principles of growth as a process, as a generality, as a set or a way of doing things rather than a specific thing to do. I hope this makes sense. As always with these videos, it's a little hard to kind of just pop on a camera and talk to a camera. It's so much easier to have this kind of conversation with a person where it's kind of embedded into a context of questions or what people wanting to know or just human interaction. But hopefully this lands. Hopefully this makes sense for you. I would encourage you, while you're learning techniques or while you're pursuing like a clear understanding of how to heal yourself, how to grow, how to change, how to transform, that along with getting those techniques, don't miss the forest for the trees here, right? I would encourage you to see the principles, see the underlying patterns, see what the real heart and the core of this work is. And this is something I hope to convey to you more. This is exactly what this course I'm making is about. So, you'll be hearing more about that shortly here. But yeah, I would just encourage you to sit with this and start to think about what are the underlying principles here, right? Because it's so easy when we're kind of lost and desperate and needing healing and needing change and frightened and stuck and frustrated and all the things, our attention naturally wants to go focused and narrow when we're triggered and in fight or flight. So starting to see principles is a way to start to broaden the scope of your attention, which is in its own way a subtle intervention that kind of loosens up this fight or flight state, brings you back into parasympathetic mode. Literally, you can access your peripheral vision or go up on like a big vista on top of a building or a mountaintop or whatever, see a big view, open your scope of vision. And that literally, not metaphorically, starts to shift your nervous system out of fight or flight and into parasympathetic mode where you can relax and feel safer and it becomes easier to heal. So that's kind of a metaphor, but that's also literally an intervention too. Point being, uh, learn principles, start to see principles. We'll be talking more about this here on the channel, but I just want to kind of offer the thought to you. So much love for now, and thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you so much, and I have more content on the way soon. Take care.